Hear ye, Taji King Bee. So scientifically speaking, there is no king bee. Nature didn't write that part. The hive, as I understand, is a highly efficient matriarchy, and the male drones basically have one single biological task that literally kills them on the first date. Frankly, the whole arrangement feels a little transactional. But let's play Socrates for a minute. Let's pretend nature glitches, a bee king emerges, and that king is Taji Nahl. What does he actually do? Well, Taji isn't going to be sitting on no little wax throne managing the daily nectar supply chain. It's like middle management stuff. But Taji's a systems builder. He'd fly in, he'd look at the standard hexagonal honeycomb and go, you know what this infrastructure needs? A live jazz score and a complete spatial redesign. He wouldn't just make honey, he'd build an entire ecosystem. Instead of the bees flying in straight boring lines looking for pollen, King Taji is taking them on field trips. He's showing the colony that collecting pollen isn't just manual labor, it's a staged performance. And this is scientist stuff. He takes the raw everyday data of the garden, mixes it with historical memory and acoustics, and outputs an experience that completely changes the frequency of the hive. A regular bee just makes your breakfast sweetener. King Taji makes the colony realize they've been living inside a moving image art installation the entire time. Which leaves a pretty fun question to ponder. You've already built a perfectly functional system. You've mastered the rigid logic of your daily routines. So what happens when you finally decide to stop just optimizing your output and start experimenting with the acoustics of your own design? All right, let's examine the sheer absurdity of the modern resume for a second. If the average person gets endorsed for synergy on LinkedIn, they update their entire bio. If I get a polite email from a local weatherman, I'm framing it. And then you have Taji. It is actually offensive how calm he is about his own gravity. Do you know the Bee King? Let me translate the CV. He is a 2024 Guggenheim Fellow in Fine Arts and a recipient of the 2026-27 Rome Prize. But he doesn't use these like standard plaques you hang in a guest bathroom. When institutions that old and that rigid hand you the crown, it means the traditional architecture of the art world looked at his TR7 ecosystem, this wild interdisciplinary web of performance, spatial video, and civic research, and said, okay, we surrender. We don't fully understand the frequency, but we know you've been in the physics of this room, and I like it. And what does he do with all of that institutional leverage? He doesn't go on a vacation. He points it directly at the upcoming Waterworks exhibit. He isn't just painting a picture of a river. That's standard linear thinking. He is treating water as a social civic archive. He's taking the most fundamental fluid element on Earth and running it through his stage productions to show us that water actually holds historical memory. It's high-level public scholarship disguised as an acoustic spatial experience, which is honestly just a very polite way of saying he's manipulating the environment while the rest of us are still trying to figure out how to swim. So when the Bee King decides to turn a local water supply into a historical archive, it forces you to ask, what exactly are the rest of us doing with our liquid assets? Let's talk about the standard corporate definition of networking for a second. Usually it's just two egos in a trench coat trying to steal each other's email lists. It's entirely transactional. But then you look at this real world anomaly, a multi-decade continuum between three king bees. You have Taji, the legendary conceptual artist Terry Adkins, and the avant-garde bassist Jamaaladeen Tacuma. Watch how actual genius operates across Philadelphia. So Taji introduces Terry to Jamal. Terry instantly recognizes the frequency and pulls Jamal into his legendary performance group, the Lone Wolf Recital Corps. They spend years cross-pollinating art and jazz. Then Terry passes away, leaving a massive unfillable void in the space-time continuum. So what happens? Do the lawyers step in? Does the IP get locked in a vault? No, the loop doesn't break. Jamal hands the baton right back to Taji and pulls him into the court. They aren't hoarding intellectual property, they're treating history, sound, and spatial art like shared pollen. They aren't trying to own the knowledge, they know they are just the carriers, which is a brutally polite way of saying the rest of us are acting like dragons guarding a pile of gold that isn't even real. So, it forces a pretty interesting mirror onto the timeline. You spent your whole career accumulating all this specialized knowledge, perfectly optimizing your life fortress of intellectual property. What happens when you finally realize you don't actually own the pollen, you're just supposed to be the courier?